The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, by Gary Keller, Dave Jenks, and J. Papasan. Introduction. I want to tell you a story. It's about a man named Gary Keller. One summer weekend, he and his wife were on vacation at a beautiful beach resort. They step into the elevator, and a real estate agent happens to be inside. His wife, making small talk, asks, "So, how's the market? Heard of any good deals?" The agent's eyes light up. "Actually," she says, "I know of a great one right here in this building. A condo just came on the market. Would you like to see it?" They weren't planning on buying anything, but it sounded like a fun way to spend an hour. So they went. The condo was perfect. A corner unit with stunning beach views, in great shape. And the price? It was listed for only $160,000. Now, Gary and his wife knew the area well. They knew this was a steal. The agent even said, "Honestly, this is a steal." She asked if they wanted to make an offer. And even though Gary knew it was a good deal, even though he knew they could afford it, he hesitated. He hadn't yet learned to think like a true investor. The kind of person who knows you don't let an opportunity like this walk away. So he thanked the agent and told her, "We'll think about it." A week later, back home, they were still thinking about it. At the dinner table, they decided, "Yes, let's do it." Gary found the agent's card, picked up the phone, and called her to make an offer. And the agent, she just laughed. "I told you that condo was a steal," she said. It sold the next day. Gary hung up the phone, turned to his wife, and said 4 words that would haunt him, and change the entire course of his life. He said, "Honey, we just lost $100,000. That single moment of indecision, that one missed opportunity, cost them an instant $100,000 profit. That property would have immediately resold for $260,000. It wasn't just a loss of money, it was the painful realization that he was asking the wrong questions. He was asking, "Should I make an investment?" when a true investor asks, "Is this the deal?" That $100,000 lesson was the beginning of a quest. A quest to understand the mindset, the models, and the methods of those who don't just get lucky in real estate, but who build incredible, life-changing wealth, systematically. That quest led Gary Keller, co-founder of the largest real estate company in North America, to interview over 100 millionaire real estate investors from all walks of life. He and his team wanted to find the blueprint. Not the get-rich-quick schemes, not the late-night infomercial secrets, but the timeless, proven principles that turn ordinary people into millionaires. The result of that journey is the book we're going to explore today, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And here is my promise to you. By the end of our time together, you will understand this blueprint. You'll see that building financial wealth isn't about genius, or inherited money, or timing the market. It's about a handful of powerful, simple ideas that anyone, and I mean anyone, including you, can master. This isn't just about real estate. This is a manual for creating a life of financial freedom. Book summary. I remember a conversation I had with my own son in the car one afternoon. He was 12, and he turned to me with a very serious look on his face. "Dad," he said, "I need money. Serious money. And I need it fast." I smiled. This was a topic I knew a little something about. I started sharing with him my beliefs about work ethic, about patience, about having a good plan. I told him how I made money when I was his age. "How about mowing yards?" I suggested. He just shook his head. No. It's not fast enough, Dad." I kept making suggestions, and he kept shooting them down. My plans either took too long or didn't create the serious big money he had in his mind. I could feel myself getting frustrated. It felt like he was missing the point entirely. But then I realized, maybe I was the one missing his point. He was living in a world of instant winners, lottery lovers, and million-dollar game shows. A world that teaches a generation that riches come quickly, or they don't come at all. And I was haunted by the fear that we are losing our way in a world that values money for what it can buy, not for the good it can do. That day, I made a decision not to get angry, but to stay engaged. We went home, and we created a plan for him. A real plan, something he could build on and grow over time. As that plan came together, his confidence grew. He saw a path. Here's a truth you can count on: little money comes easy. Big money doesn't. And this book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, is about the plans that create big money. It's about understanding that one of the best ways to create financial wealth, the kind of wealth that sets you and your family free, is through investing in real estate. It can absolutely change your life. But before we can even talk about the how, we have to talk about the why and, more importantly, the why not. Why do so many people who dream of financial freedom never take the first step? The authors found that it all comes down to a collection of what they call myth understandings. These are the whispers of doubt, the fears that we've been educated into, that build a wall between us and our dreams. The first, and biggest, is the myth about ourselves. We tell ourselves things like, "I don't need to be an investor. My job will take care of me." Or, "I'm happy with what I have. I don't need or want to be wealthy." And the most powerful myth of all, "It doesn't matter if I want it. I just can't do it." Let's take these one by one, because they are the foundation of everything. First, the idea that your job is your path to financial wealth. For 99% of people, this is simply not true. Your job is where you earn your initial investment capital. That's its role. But it is not, and never will be, your financial wealth. Think of it this way. Being rich is about having money. You can have a high-paying job and be very rich. But the problem is, the moment you stop working, the money stops coming. Financial wealth, on the other hand, is about owning assets, like businesses or real estate, that generate money for you whether you're working or not. It's unearned income. The authors tell the startling story of the boxer Mike Tyson, who earned over $400 million in his career. 400 millions. Yet in 2003, he filed for bankruptcy, $23 million in debt. Why? Because he had a high income, but he wasn't an investor. He didn't build a system where his money worked for him. It's a sad tale, but it proves a powerful point: a high income doesn't automatically translate to financial wealth. Your job is your job. Building wealth is something else entirely. The second myth is just as subtle. I'm happy with what I have. It sounds noble, doesn't it? But the truth is, you have no idea what you will need or want beyond today. Life is unpredictable. You can't predict the resources you'll need for life's uncertainties, both good and bad. What if a family member gets sick and needs your help? What if your child shows an incredible talent that requires special opportunities? What if an unforeseen chance to make a real difference in your community arises, but it requires more money than you have? Pursuing financial wealth isn't about greed. It's about having choices. It's about being prepared for both the minimums life might demand and the maximums life might offer. The authors put it beautifully. Instead of forgetting your dreams and living within your means, try pursuing the means to live your dreams. And finally, the most insidious myth: I just can't do it. This is the voice of self-doubt that places judgment ahead of effort. It assumes the future is static. It says, based on who I am today, this is all I can ever accomplish. The millionaire investors in this book came from every imaginable background. Some started with massive debt and no credit. One was a registered nurse struggling to support her disabled husband. Another was a single mom who had been waiting tables at Denny's. What they shared wasn't a special talent for money, it was a belief in possibility. They thought in terms of what was possible, not just what was probable. They understood that you can't predict what you can or can't do until you try. Most of us think that to start investing, we need a lot of everything, a lot of ability, a lot of time, and a lot of money. But the book reveals a hidden secret: you don't. You need a little of each. And these three factors, ability, time, and money, are multipliers. If you just double the time you spend learning and looking, even if your ability and money stay the same, you double your investment potential. If you double your time and your ability, you quadruple it. Big things start small. Once you push past these personal myths, you'll encounter a second set of doubts: the myths about investing itself. You'll hear that investing is complicated, that it's risky, that all the good deals are taken, that you need special knowledge, and that you have to be able to time the market. The authors dismantle each of these, one by one. Investing is only as complicated as you make it. You don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car, and you don't need to be a rocket scientist to invest. You just need to know the fundamental rules of the road. Investing isn't risky by definition. Speculating is risky. Gambling is risky. Investing, when done right, is the process of removing risk. It's about making your money when you go in, by buying something of value for terms that immediately create a profit for you. And timing the market? The book makes a brilliant point. In successful investing, the timing finds you. It's not about sitting on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment to jump in. It's about being in the game, always active, always looking, so that when that brief window of opportunity opens, you're there to act. As the saying goes, timing isn't about being in the right place at the right time, it's about being in the right place all the time. So, how do you do that? How do you put yourself in the right place all the time? The answer lies in one of the most powerful concepts in the entire book: the power of models. Gary Keller tells another great story about playing Monopoly with his son. His son was convinced the game was all luck. After losing badly, he asked his father what he meant when he said it wasn't just about luck. Gary went to his office and pulled out an article written by a game designer that outlined a simple, proven strategy for winning at Monopoly. It explained which properties get the most traffic, which ones have the highest return on investment, and how to negotiate to get the best monopolies. They read it together, and a realization dawned on his son. There was a way to win. A model to follow. When they played again, his son won, without any help. He now understood the difference between a good deal and a great one. Real estate investing is no different. Success isn't about luck, it's about strategy. The best investors, the champions, don't count on good luck. They use proven, time-tested models to take luck out of the game. This is the core philosophy of the book. Big goals, powered by big models, lead to big success. Why start from scratch, learning from your own painful and expensive mistakes, when you can start where someone else left off? You can learn from the history of those who have already succeeded. This is what the authors did. They went on a quest to find the models used by the very best players in the real estate investing game. And they found that all their success boiled down to focusing on just three things. They call it the dynamic trio of investing: criteria, terms, and network. CTN. Criteria is what you buy. These are the standards that define the kind of property you're looking for. The location, the type, the condition. Your criteria are the things that can't be negotiated away. They are your opportunity filter, keeping the bad deals out and letting the good ones in. Terms are how you buy it. This is where a deal is truly made. Terms are all the negotiable aspects: the price, the down payment, the interest rate, even who pays for closing costs. Skillful negotiation of terms can turn a decent opportunity into an incredible deal, creating better equity and improved cash flow from day one. Network is who helps you. This was the surprise discovery. The idea of a lone wolf investor is a myth. Every single millionaire investor they interviewed talked about the people who helped them succeed: the agents, contractors, lenders, mentors, and partners. This is leverage. You can accomplish far more with qualified help than you can ever accomplish alone. These three areas of focus, criteria, terms, and network, are the foundation upon which the entire journey is built. And that journey unfolds across four distinct stages, like climbing a great mountain. The first stage is Think a Million. This is your base camp. Before you make a single move, you have to learn to think like a millionaire investor. You have to understand that how you think matters. What you hold in your mind is what shows up in your life. The second stage is Buy a Million. This is about getting the working models you need to purchase investment properties with a market value of $1 million or more. It sounds like a huge leap, but many investors reach this mark far sooner than they expect. The third stage is Own a Million. This is where your focus shifts. You're no longer just acquiring properties, you're building a business. You now aim to have an equity position of $1 million or more. And the final stage, the summit, is Receive a Million. This is the place where your investment business is designed so that you can receive an annual income of $1 million from your investments, without you having to be involved in the day-to-day work. To guide you on this journey, the authors distilled all their research into 5 proven models. These are the how-to of becoming a millionaire real estate investor. Let's start with the net worth model. This is your financial dashboard. It begins with a simple but profound idea. You must learn the path of money. When a dollar leaves your hands, it begins a journey. You have 4 choices. You can spend it, you can hold it, you can donate it, or you can invest it. Most people spend most of it, and their journey ends right there. Millionaires, however, purposefully budget their money to maximize the amount they have to invest. They see investing not as an expense, but as a requirement. They pay themselves first, second, and last. The final piece of this model is to track your personal net worth. This is your scorecard in the wealth building game. What you own minus what you owe. By tracking this number over time, you start to see which financial decisions have the greatest positive impact. You begin to understand, on a deep level, the difference between an asset that appreciates, like real estate, and one that depreciates, like a car. This naturally leads to the second model, the financial model. This is the engine of wealth creation. There are only 2 ways to build wealth in real estate: equity buildup and cash flow growth. Equity buildup comes from 2 forces working together: price appreciation, the market value of your property going up over time, and debt paydown, your tenants paying off your mortgage for you. Every month, your equity in the property grows. Cash flow growth is the unearned income you receive when your rental income is more than all your costs. The book lays out a powerful motto for this model: buy it right, pay it down, pay it off. When you buy it right, you make your money going in, ensuring both equity and cash flow from the start. As you pay it down, your equity builds even faster. And when you pay it off, your cash flow grows dramatically, creating a powerful stream of passive income. To show how powerful this is, the book walks through a 20-year journey. It shows how an investor, starting in 1983 with a single property and a down payment of just over $11,000, could become a millionaire. By consistently buying 1 or 2 properties every couple of years, using a simple formula: buy at the median price, get a 20% discount, put 20% down, the numbers are staggering. After 20 years, with 15 properties, that investor would have an equity position of over $1.6 million and an annual cash flow of over $50,000. It's not magic. It's math. It's what happens when you follow the model. But you can't do it alone, which brings us to the network model. This model is about intentionally building your dream team. It consists of 3 circles. Your inner circle is your personal board of directors. These are the 3 to 5 people you trust the most: mentors, partners, and consultants who have more experience than you and are committed to your success. You meet with them regularly. Your support circle is your team of transactioneers. These are the key professionals you rely on for every deal: your real estate agent, your lender, your accountant, your contractor. And your service circle is your army of specialists. These are the inspectors, electricians, plumbers, and painters you call on an as-needed basis. Building this network doesn't happen by accident. It happens by asking 2 simple questions to everyone you meet in the industry. Who do you know that I should know? And what would you do if you were me? These 2 questions will open doors and build relationships faster than anything else. Once you have your network, you need opportunities. That's the lead generation model. This is about systematically finding properties. It starts with a clear answer to the question, what am I looking for? This is your criteria. You need a wanted poster for your ideal property. Then, you have to answer, who can help me find it? These are your sources: owners, intermediaries like attorneys and bank officers, and your leads network. And finally, how will I find them? This comes down to 2 activities: prospecting, which is actively seeking opportunities, making calls, researching, and marketing, which is about attracting them, running ads, sending mail. You'll generally be prospecting for properties and marketing for motivated sellers. The authors found that for every 30 properties an experienced investor investigates, about 10 warrant a serious look. They make offers on 3, and only 1 turns into a done deal. It's a numbers game. The quality is in the quantity. This brings us to the final model, the acquisition model. This is the moment of truth. You found a property that meets your criteria. How do you turn it into a deal? This model lays out the 2 fundamental strategies. The first is buy and sell. This is a cash-building strategy. It's about finding a property, perhaps improving it, and then quickly reselling it for a profit. This is how many investors build their initial capital. It's a job. When you stop, the income stops. The second, and more powerful strategy, is buy and hold. This is the true wealth-building strategy. This is where you acquire properties that you can rent and hold for the long term, maximizing both your equity buildup and your cash flow growth. For each of these strategies, the book provides detailed worksheets. These aren't just forms to fill out, they are checklists for making a good investment. They force you to be disciplined, to know your numbers, and to be accurate and conservative in all your estimates. They help you calculate your after-repair value, your costs of repair, your carrying costs, and your costs of sale. They force you to determine your offer price based on logic, not emotion. They are the tools that ensure you buy it right. As you move from buy $1 million to own $1 million, your focus shifts. You become more sophisticated. You learn about creative financing, like owner financing and lease options. You learn how to maximize your net operating income by increasing rents and controlling expenses. And you start thinking about leverage in a new way. The book reveals a fascinating insight about your return on investment ROI and your return on equity ROI. Your ROI, the return on the actual money you put in, tends to go up over time because of leverage. But your RO, the return on all the equity you've built up, actually goes down. A property with a lot of equity is like having a lot of cash sitting in a low-interest savings account. It's safe, but it's not working as hard for you as it could be. This is why millionaire investors don't aim for 100% equity in their properties. They understand that their equity is capital. They periodically tap into that equity by refinancing and pull it out to reinvest in more properties, where it can earn a higher return. They keep their money working hard. This continuous cycle of buying, holding, and leveraging is what propels an investor to the final stage, receive $1 million. This stage is about building a business that can run without you. It's about people leverage. The book outlines a 7-level path, showing how you gradually move from I do it, to we do it, to they do it. You start by doing everything yourself. Then, you hire an administrative assistant. Then a property manager. Then someone to help with acquisitions. Eventually, you reach the 7th level, where you hire a CEO to run your entire investment business for you. At this point, you've moved from working in your business to working on your business. You've created an asset that pays you, an engine of unearned income that demands only a small amount of your time. This is the ultimate freedom. It's the point where you have enough unearned income to finance your life's mission without having to work. You've reached the summit. And what do you do when you get there? The book ends with a beautiful and profound idea. It suggests that the journey of wealth has 4 stages: wealth education, wealth accumulation, wealth protection, and finally, wealth distribution. Financial wealth is never truly owned. The most we can achieve is to be a good steward for a time, and then to pass it on. The greatest gift of wealth is the ability to share it, to make a difference, to understand that money is good for the good it can do. Commentary. As we come to the end of our journey through the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, what strikes me the most is not the complexity of the strategies, but their profound simplicity. The book demystifies the world of real estate and presents it not as a secret club for the rich and daring, but as a learnable skill, a game with clear rules that anyone with purpose and focus can win. The most powerful lesson, for me, is the relentless focus on mindset. Before any models, before any math, the authors insist that you must first win the battle in your own mind. You must confront the myth understandings, those voices of doubt that say I can't or it's too risky. This isn't just motivational fluff, it's the foundational work. The book argues, and I believe, that your external world is a reflection of your internal one. If you think like a consumer, you will be a consumer. If you learn to think like an investor, you will become one. The concept of using proven models instead of relying on trial and error is another game changer. It's a call to humility. It tells us that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The path to success has already been paved by thousands who came before us. Our job is not to be a lone genius, but a diligent student, to find what works and apply it with discipline. The Monopoly analogy is perfect. It shows that even in a game we think is about luck, there is a system, a strategy. Life is the same. The winners are masters of strategy, not just recipients of good fortune. And that strategy is laid out so clearly in the 5 models. They provide a complete ecosystem for an investor. It's not just about finding a deal, it's about building a financial life. The net worth model gives you the controls. The financial model gives you the engine. The network model gives you the crew. The lead generation model gives you the fuel. And the acquisition model gives you the steering wheel. Together, they form a comprehensive, actionable plan that takes you from zero to financial freedom. So, how can you start applying these ideas today, right now? Here are 3 simple actions you can take. First, create your first personal balance sheet this week. Just a simple list. On one side, what you own, and on the other, what you owe. Don't judge the number. Just get a baseline. This is your starting point. From now on, you have a scorecard for the wealth building game. Second, identify one person in your life who could be part of your inner circle. It could be a family member, a teacher, or a family friend who has some experience in business or investing. Schedule a time to talk with them. Don't ask for money. Ask for wisdom. Share your goals and ask that simple, powerful question: what would you do if you were me? This is how your network begins. Third, and perhaps most importantly, choose one myth understanding that you tell yourself, and decide to challenge it. If you believe investing is complicated, spend 30 minutes this weekend reading an article about a basic real estate concept. If you believe I can't do it, write down 3 reasons why that might not be true. The journey begins with a single step away from self-doubt. That was a summary of The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller, Dave Jenks, and J. Papasan. We've explored the core ideas today, the very heart of the blueprint. But I'll be honest with you, a summary can only ever be a map. The real journey happens when you walk the path yourself. The true power of a book like this isn't just in the information, it's in the way a particular story, a specific example, or a simple phrase connects with you in a moment of quiet reflection. This summary is your guide to decide if this journey is for you. If anything we've talked about today has sparked a fire in you, I urge you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just learning, it's an experience that can fundamentally change the way you see your future. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It tells us that we're on the right track and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep learning, and let's keep growing, together.